What's going on YouTube? So the auto industry can be a strange place sometimes, and the Honda Prologue certainly fits that bill. Putting aside the fact that this is based on a General Motors platform, you might be surprised to learn that this is actually the cheapest Honda SUV to lease right now, even though it's their most expensive SUV by MSRP. So is this your secret way to drive a $47,000 SUV for less than the price of a base CR-V LX? Well, let's go ahead and find out. All right, so right from the start here, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about those numbers. So this is currently available to lease, according to Honda, for $289 a month with $3,000 down. This begins at the EX trim level. So when you get on Honda's website, you actually notice that this is the cheapest lease they have at the EX trim level of any SUV. That even includes the very basic HR-V EX trim level, and also the LX version of the CR-V is substantially more expensive. It's actually $320 a month with $4,100 down. Now, that is very interesting, of course, but let's go in and talk about what do you get for that price. So, up here in the front, we have the latest version of basically Honda's electric design language. So this is called Neo Rugged. So you've got this blacked out upper fascia here. Of course, it is going to be sealed off. Your airflow is going to be down here in the lower fascia, again finished in gloss black with a little silver accent running through there. The headlights also have a distinct look to them. This is a more squared off look than what you get on most Honda SUVs. These are LED reflector style, standard across all trim levels, with your turn signal indicator and daytime running light up there at the top. Additionally, you also have LED fog lamps at the bottom. Now moving on to the wheels, the lower two trim levels will come with 19-inch alloy wheels as standard equipment. This top-end Elite model, though, will come with these quite large 21-inch alloy wheels. They've got this really unique design on board. I think it really stands out quite nicely, especially when paired with the bright blue paint we have and the gloss black accents that go around the wheel arches as well as the lower part of the body. Coming up to the mirrors, these are also finished in a gloss black. You are going to have standard blind spot monitoring and heating across the board. We also have power fold and auto dimming on this loaded Elite.
Now here at the side of the Prologue, it comes in at an overall vehicle length of 192 inches long, which, especially if you're comparing it to other vehicles you could lease close to this, like a Honda HR-V or CR-V, is going to be substantially larger. And we'll talk about how that translates to interior space a little bit later. And I do want to point out, of course, this is riding on GM's Ultium electric platform. So it actually shares stuff like with the Blazer EV as well as the Acura ZDX. Now, as we head around to the rear design, I think this Honda Prologue has a really unique design. And I think it's grown on me as time has went on. So as far as the overall look, we have a spoiler up top, a wiper right through here, and then we have this blacked out piece that kind of mimics what you get in the front, and we have the really cool text that's, kind of lowercase here for the Honda electrified models. And then as far as the taillights, we're going to have a very nice full LED taillight that includes the brake light, turn signal, and LED reverse light, so a very futuristic looking design for that. Dropping down to the lower area, we have a mixture of silver, gloss black, and body color. As far as your tow rating, it's rated to tow 1,500 pounds, Now, you're going to also get every single safety system, regardless of which Prologue you choose, which is certainly very nice. Do be aware, though, you're not going to get stuff like GM's Super Cruise system that is available on the Blazer EV. But let's go ahead and dive into the pretty luxurious cabin. But first,
if you're new here, we're brothers, and we've been reviewing cars since we were 12
and 16. We may be young, but we love cars.
And we'd love for you to subscribe to be a part of our Car Confections family. Let's learn a lot, have some fun with all the latest cars.
Let's go ahead and check out the interior. First, before we get inside, here's our key fob. This is going to be, well, it's a General Motors key fob, even though it has the little Honda logo on there. You do have a smart entry system and remote start. And you also, whoa, you get a digital key. That comes on the Elite trim level. Now getting inside here, there's not a sensor behind the handle, so just press the silver button there and that will unlock the door. All right, now checking out the interior. I am noticing we got a cool animation across that central display as we peek inside. And in terms of the overall interior, you're definitely going to notice that this feels different than both the HR-V and CR-V because this is going to be a lot of General Motors parts more so than Honda parts. Let's talk about the seats first of all though. So that 289 model is going to give you cloth seats. However, the Touring and Elite trim levels, those will both give you real leather. As you can see, this is a perforated leather. You've got several different colors you can choose from, including an exclusive brown on this Elite model, but we've got the gray and black, which I think looks really, really nice, especially with the color contrast stitching. The seats themselves are 12-way power adjusting as well, and we do have memory seats on this top spec. But let's go ahead and get inside. Now shutting up the door, let's look at the rest of the cabin materials. Beginning with our door trim, we've got more of the gray leatherette material through here. Soft touch plastic along the upper part of the door trim. As we move to the top dash, this is all soft touch plastic. We have a leatherette material that goes through here in the gray, piano black through the center section, and then the center tunnel here is just going to be the matte black hard touch plastic. Let's go ahead and fire it up with our standard push button start. And let's go ahead and look at some of the individual details. First of all, let's take a look at the gauge cluster. This is an 11-inch full digital cluster. This is standard on all three trim levels of the Prologue. You can customize this with several different views, including a full screen map, which I really like, and that looks really good. You do also have a head-up display, but be aware that's only going to be on the top Elite, certainly not on the $289 a month model. Taking a look at the steering wheel, you also are going to have just the plain urethane steering wheel if you have the $289 a month one, or if you go up to the Touring trim, that's going to get you the leather wrap steering wheel. Elite gets you the additional steering wheel heating. All of them are manual tilt and telescoping. Now, moving into interior storage, we have a lot of it on board. This is a full electric model, gives the brands a lot of flexibility. So you've got a huge center console here, very deep. You've got a wireless phone charging pad right there, just kind of goes in there. 2 cup holders, a really large rubber-lined pad right through here for your phones and things like that. And then you got the huge center pass-through as well, so you can stick all types of things down in that area. That's courtesy of the fact that we have an electronic shifter. So this is kind of the typical shifter you see on most General Motors products these days, and it is very space efficient. You're just going to pull down for drive, go up for reverse. When you go into reverse, here is our 360-degree camera system. You don't get this on the base model, but on this one you do have that, and it has got the active trajectory as well as the nice overhead view and all different types of things that you can select between. And then just press the end of the stock there for park. Now turning our attention over here to our climate controls, we have a really nice full physical setup on board. This is dual zone automatic, so you can just very easily adjust your temperature with those knobs. And like I said, all your other controls are right through there. Additionally, one thing I do want to point out is the fact that the EX, the $289 a month Prologue, comes with standard heated seats. So that's very nice. Ventilated seats come on the fully loaded Elite model. In terms of audio systems, we have the available Bose sound system. The base model will come with a 6-speaker sound system instead. And then let's take a look at the main infotainment system here. So this is an 11.3-inch display. And since, this vehicle does have a lot of General Motors parts, this is General Motors infotainment software. In this case, I really think that's mostly a good thing compared to what you get on like the CR-V and the HR-V, because it does have a little bit more advanced technology on board, including Google Apps built right into the system itself. It's overall going to be extremely responsive. And then compared to General Motors' own electric vehicles, this does have wireless Android Auto and Apple CarPlay both on board, again on all the trims, including that $289 a month model. Now up above, finally, we've got an auto-dimming mirror. And then Only the top model is going to get you this large panoramic sunroof. It does open up.
And let's go ahead and dive into the rear seat areas, because I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised with what you find back here, because especially if you compare it to something like a Honda HR-V or a Honda CR-V that you might be able to lease for even more money than this, you're going to have a ton of space. So we're looking at 39.4 inches of legroom, 38.1 inches of headroom. Really good space figures. Of course, that's afforded to you by, just how big this vehicle is. It's a lot larger than those two other offerings. Now, I'm 5'9". This seat is adjusted to Drew, who is 5'8". We are on a bit of a time crunch today, so I don't have time to get my ruler out or whatnot, but I can easily slide my feet up underneath the seat, and I'm very comfortable. Do keep in mind, though, the seats don't recline, so that's going to be one thing worth noting. We have a full down center armrest with 2 cup holders inside, and as far as features, we have vents right here, a little storage cubby, and we're also going to have 2 charging USB ports and a household outlet. So a lot of features back here as well. As far as the door trim, it is going to be hard touch on the upper part, so I'm a little disappointed by that, but we do have a nice leather armrest portion and bottle storage in the bottom. And let's go ahead and dive into the cargo area. Of course, we do have a power tailgate here on this Elite model. And let's go ahead and talk about space as well. So we're going to be sitting at about 25 cubic feet of space behind the second row of seats. If I reach up there and fold them down, which actually isn't too hard to do even for someone of my size, we're going to have about 57 cubic feet as a maximum cargo capacity. So that's going to be one area that's not actually all that bigger than an HR-V or a CR-V. The CR-V is actually going to be larger in terms of cargo capacity, but still plenty of room for most people. And the seats do fold to 60-40 split. If I lift up the cargo floor, there's a little bit of extra space up underneath of here, so keep that in mind. And I do want to point out that there is not going to be a frunk on the Prologue. Although it kind of looks like there could be space for one, there is not here in the Prologue, so all of your stuff is going to have to fit in the cargo department. But let's go ahead and take this Prologue out for a spin, because I think you're going to be pretty pleasantly surprised.
Alright, so that was a quick acceleration with our Prologue Elite trim. So, what do we have? Well, we have 288 horsepower on board with this trim level. This is courtesy of the fact that we've got the dual motor all-wheel drive system. So this is going to be available in both front-wheel drive and all-wheel drive. The dual motor all-wheel drive, of course, having 2 motors is going to give you more power, 288 horsepower as opposed to 212 horsepower with your standard front-wheel drive model.
Yeah, you'll also have 333 pound-feet of torque, which is a lot. And that's the thing about electric vehicles. The theme of this video is kind of talking about, what you might be able to lease for the same money, talking about gasoline options that you can lease for the same money. A Honda, HR-V or a Honda CR-V, this is significantly faster, and it will feel so because of that torque. Yeah, pretty quick.
Yeah, it's not gonna blow you away, of course, but like Mason was saying, in comparison to a CR-V with that 1.5 liter 4-cylinder, this is going to feel a lot faster.
Yeah, now as far as the torque figure on the base setup, that's 236 pound-feet of torque, and that's not a bad figure either. Now, I do want to point out that there is not going to be a high-performance version of the Honda Prologue. This is going to be the highest-end one and fastest version that you can get. Now, of course, they do also offer the Acura ZDX Type S, which is basically the high-performance version of this vehicle. So if you really are craving a need for speed in your electric vehicle, you can get that instead. Now, what is the powertrain comprised of? Well, it's going to be an 85 kilowatt hour lithium-ion battery pack on every single Prologue, so it doesn't depend on what trim level you get, what battery size you're going to find. So that actually does mean that you will have the best range in the EX model, which is what we've been talking about, that you can lease for $289 a month. So the best range will be 296 miles on a single charge, which is actually quite good. Now, it is a little bit less than what you can get in the Blazer EV, but about 300 miles of range is very competitive for all electric vehicles, especially when you're talking at that affordable price point. That is a very good range figure. Now, if you want all-wheel drive, it drops down to 281 miles for the other trim levels, and if you choose the Elite version with the larger wheels, that does affect your range a little bit. So this is 273 as seen today in this video.
Now, I do want to point out that this does have one pedal drive. You can turn it on high, normal, or off. It just depends on your preference, but if you do like to be able to slow down without hitting that brake pedal, you have that option.
And as far as charging, let's go ahead and talk about this. So we have, on level 3 charging, you can get up to 65 miles of range in as little as 10 minutes. And I do want to point out it's going to be with the CCS charger for now. However, in 2025, Honda has said they will switch to NACS, so you will have that latest charging standard next year.
That was a sport mode acceleration. You get the sport mode in the Elite trim. Feels a little bit quicker overall. Not a big difference, but the main thing is that there's a sound effect that goes on when you're accelerating, just to kind of give you a sportier feel.
Yeah, and let's go ahead and discuss ride quality and handling and those types of things with this Prologue. Now, I think the ride quality is pretty good. This Elite model does have really large wheels, 21s. I think this is actually the largest wheel that they've ever equipped a Honda with from the factory. And, overall, I find the ride to be pretty compliant here in this trim level. When you hit a bump, it does a pretty decent job of soaking it up, and the seats are comfortable. I would imagine you'd honestly get better ride quality out of the cheaper models with smaller wheels on the outside, so do keep that in mind.
As far as steering is concerned, it's going to be pretty lightweight. This is not a sporty vehicle by any stretch of the imagination. It doesn't mean it's sloppy or anything like that, but it's definitely going to be tuned for overall comfort as the first and foremost priority.
Alrighty, and we are speeding up to 55 miles per hour, so let's go ahead and put it on fan speed 1, and we will get our sound level reading. 62.2 decibels is what we are sitting at as our sound level reading. Honestly, that's not too bad of a figure, especially considering that we are here in Washington State right now, and the Pacific Northwest has really rough roads, so we've been noticing that every car we've driven up here is significantly louder. Hopefully we'll be able to get one of these back home for a full week-long test, and we can give you that official Kentucky sound level reading. And if you're looking for any sound level reading, you go to carconfections.com/sound level readings, where we posted out all of the cars that we review on this channel, which certainly is a lot. And let's do our Car Confections Slam Dunk and Airball, our favorite and least favorite element. I'll kick us off by saying the Slam Dunk it's just got to be the lease deal that they have on this right now. It's pretty incredible that you can lease this $47,000 starting MSRP vehicle for less than what you find in a CR-V LX. I think that's just quite the deal that they're offering right now, so it's definitely a good offer to maybe take advantage of.
Yeah, and then on the Airball side of things, it's going to be just the fact that compared to, CR-V, HR-V, Pilot, Passport, all those vehicles are distinctly Honda because they are developed by Honda. Whereas this is kind of just mostly General Motors, but with a little sprinkle of Honda. So if you're used to Honda, I think that it might be a little jarring say the switch, because of just the fact that all the switch gear, all the buttons, everything is General Motors, so it's just going to be a lot different than what you're used to. So it would be probably better if they added a little bit more Honda elements.
Yeah, and lastly, as far as your warranty is concerned, you do have Honda's warranty, a 3-year 36 basic, 5-year 60 powertrain. You do also get 2 years and 25,000 miles of complimentary maintenance if you buy a 2024, although do be aware for all 25 Hondas, that has been reduced down to 1 year. And let's go ahead and discuss pricing. Now, Drew kind of already talked about your lease specials with this Prologue. I certainly would recommend leasing this vehicle because it seems like you can get a really good deal by doing so. But if you want to, pay MSRP for it, you're going to start at $47,400 for the EX trim level. If you want the Elite all-wheel drive, which is what we have today, $57,900 is where you're going to be sitting at. And if you're looking to buy a Honda Prologue or any new vehicle, we would encourage you to go to carconfections.com/newcarquotes. Now, the reason you do that is because we have a tool on our website that will connect you with local car dealers in your area to get you the best price. It's also going to give you access to invoice pricing information, which is a great tool for dealership negotiation. If you'd like to take advantage of that, a link is provided in our video description, and we also have a pinned comment at the top of this video. And guys, that's going to be it for our in-depth review of the all-new Honda Prologue. If you enjoyed watching this video or found it helpful in your purchasing decisions, which we hope you did, that's really the whole point of us making this video, we'd really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button down below. By subscribing, you're going to get the latest car reviews like this, and you're also going to be informed on the auto industry in general with our comparisons and all types of other videos that you won't want to miss out on. If you're already a part of our family, thank you so much for your continued support, and we'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.